Okay, guys, we are back with one more best of three. It's going to be Dewalt versus Pitbull Terrier. Pitbull Terrier, I have seen a few times in the ladder. His Zerg vs. Protoss is really strong 7-4-3 or 9-7-3 player. I think we just saw Dewalt take out Baitsal in Foreign All-Stars versus Team Postis. So it's going to be a Protoss versus Zerg. First map is going to be Sylphid. 3-game series. Not going to be best of 5 or best of 7. It's very late here in Korea, so... Alright, here we go. Protoss versus Zerg. Dewalt versus Pitbull Terrier. Map is... Sylphid. Dewalt looked really strong in the games we just saw versus Baitsal, and I was talking about how Bishop was saying that he liked Dewalt's Protoss versus Terran, but liked Bonus Protoss versus Zerg and Protoss versus Protoss a little bit more. So we have Dewalt at mid left, Pitbull Terrier at bottom right. We'll see how much Dewalt has improved over the past few months. I remember seeing both him and Bonnet playing versus Pitbull Terrier in maybe not a show match, but some type of matches, and I remember just Hydra Man reigning supreme in those games. Now, because Gateway Expand is more of a theme as opposed to Forge Expand, maybe Pitbull Terrier cannot rely on just going for 9-7-3. We do have Dewalt sending out his first probe. And we saw earlier today that one of the Zergs, it was Wiko, ended up going for 11 hatch, 10 pool. True Touch ended up going into overpool. So I wonder what our Zerg player is actually going to opt for this time. Pitbull Terrier, I'm not too familiar with him other than I know he's a really good player, like Bishop level. So somewhere in the like 2600 range, most likely on the ladder. I'm guessing maybe a little bit higher. He's definitely a really good Zerg. I'm not sure if I've actually played him personally, but I know that he has taken out some of the best in the foreign scene. So overpool for Pitbull Terrier. Dewalt actually is not going for Gateway Expand. So we'll see if this is going to be 12 Nexus or 11 Nexus, or if this is actually just going to be straight Forge. Okay, it is going to be a Forge for Dewalt, I think. No, actually just going to be 11 Nexus. So this is something I had been waiting to see, because a couple people have done this, but nobody actually ended up facing an overpool. So that's the real question to me, is can this build stop overpool? I imagine that it has to be able to stop an overpool, because this is one of the most common openers for Zerg. So 11 Nexus, 11 Forge from Dewalt, overpool from Zerg. Pitbull Terrier putting down his Nat hatchery. Only... well, we don't know how many links are coming out just yet. It looked like 4 initially, but that is a drone, so I guess these two are most likely just going to be 4 lings. So I don't think this is enough to actually kill a cannon. So Dewalt should be able to just get away with this 11 Nexus, and to get away with a Nexus this early, oh man, it doesn't get better than that for Dewalt. And he's only actually going to send 2 across the map, so let's see when these lings actually get here. This cannon's going to be done, or if it's not, it's going to be very close to being done. So it looks like this is pretty much just an easy counter to an overpool from Protoss. Oh, maybe not. Looks like there might just barely. Can the probe block it? Wow. So actually, if Pitbull Terrier had built 6 lings and just ran by, looks like this build might barely just be a little bit too slow. But as played, not the case. Also, you know for sure Dewalt would have pulled probes if he had seen more than 2 lings moving across the map. Meanwhile, third hatch for Pitbull going down at bottom middle. So everything so far looks very reminiscent to what I remember seeing from him a few months ago. I would guess that this is going to be 9-7-3 simply because of how the hatches are positioned, simply from the games that I've seen him play, and the fact that this was a little bit of a later gas. But instead, it is going to be just a lair. Now, it might be because that the probe has remained alive the whole time. If it had gotten taken out, he may have gone for an actual Hydra Den. But Dewalt saw it, so he knows he's okay for now. Cybernetics is already done for Dewalt, so his build is mega streamlined, being able to build the Cybernetics off of the first pylon. This is going to be a Citadel. He did not have the gas for Stargate, so he ends up going to Citadel. Now, I wonder if he's going to build like a second gate right here, or if he's just going to keep it in the main. And something that I remember a pro saying is that when Overlords kind of hang around the front, you got to be wary of a Hydra bust. But we know that there is no Hydra bust coming, but of course Dewalt doesn't know. He did see the lair. This could have been a cancel. So he does have to respect that potential. Stargate coming in now, but this was a super fast Citadel. He did get gas at his nat, so I actually don't think that this is for speed. I think this is just for mega fast DT. So I expect to see Templar Archive come in pretty soon. But maybe I'm wrong. +1 weapon did start. So this looks like a 7:30 timing potentially, but I think that this is going to be the Archive. Yep, Templar Archive coming in, and this is really fast. Really fast. Goon pushing back this Overlord and getting a couple of Lings. So nicely done from Dewalt. This is also going to supply block Pitbull Terrier. Now, I think every time I've seen someone build a Goon like this, it's never been Stargate. So this may have already tipped off Pitbull Terrier that this is going to be some type of Zealot pressure build. But because the Stargate is up and because the Sarah is already building, this may throw him for a loop that, hey, this actually is not going to be Zealot pressures, at least not instantly. Now, the Overlords are way spread out. He just tried to save them, and if we actually take a look at all of the bases, none of them have Overlords in position. Even this Overlord, I think, is going to go off into no man's land. So the first DT coming out, I think, might just end the game. There's the second gate as expected. Speed is probably started at this point. Sarah is going to probably get a kill. Maybe. Well, now that the Spire is done and it popped, he doesn't know exactly when it finished. So he's going to back off for now. But when this DT comes out, I really do think that this third base is going to be compromised very easily. There goes that DT. Now the Lings do see it. They should have seen it. They saw the blur. Now the question is did he really notice it? It looks like he did because he's chasing it down. I'm sure Overlord's got insta-queued up right here. And Overlord at the nat, good timing there. Really only lacking on an Overlord here, but nice timing from Pitbull Terrier to get that Overlord out in time. This DT was extremely fast. So not going to get any damage done with the DT. A second DT pops out. So this might be for Maelstrom. DT going to try and run in. Ooh, I think that's a little bit ambitious, but he does get 2 drones. 3, 4, 5. Gets 5 drones on a DT that I thought was 100% just going to get wiped out instantly. So a really nice trade for Dewalt. Now, he does have another DT. And usually Protoss players don't build more than 1 DT at this stage of the game. And actually, a DT adds a lot of damage, but it's not going to be synced up in with the army, and he is just going to send it to the third base while all this is happening. This is very clever from Dewalt. There's no way Pitbull Terrier is going to suspect this, but Hydras pop out at the right time. Nice control. Oh, I thought he focus fired the drum, but at least he saves the DT. Now back in the main of Dewalt, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th gate all going down. Pitbull does have his lair. He does have 6 hatches. He has Evolution Chamber up and running, so he's going to be able to match the upgrades of Protoss. Still no speed for Dewalt though. Also, no Templars are out, so they haven't been banking any energy. So this could be a bit of an opportunity for Pitbull to just pump out 1 or 2 rounds of Hydras and try and bust down this entryway to the natural. First 2 Templars do pop out, but they need about 30 more seconds to get their energy up. I don't think Pitbull can knock it down that quickly for Dewalt to be under any type of threat, but we'll see. DT coming in for round 2. Nope, it is just going to back off for now. That is a lot of Hydras, and there's only going to be more and more and more coming out. I don't think the Forge is going to get canceled, so it's going to be great for Dewalt. Still no speed. He's delayed it for a considerable amount of time to get more units, get more Templar out. Cannon is almost popped, but the Zealots are holding on strong. They got to be careful not to bleed these off, though. They are way too far forward from the Zealots, or from the Templar. 7th and 8th gate coming in. That's a good storm. Hits a decent chunk of the Hydras there. Still more Hydras being pumped out from Pitbull Terrier. He's got good saturation across his bases. Ooh, pops that Templar, and I think that Templar probably had a storm available. That's an okay storm, hits a few of them. He desperately needs to get speed, though. Okay, there we go. Speed has kicked in. +1 armor's about a minute away. He's going to focus down that cannon, focus down that cannon. But I think there's just too many Zealots at this point, but he needs to make sure that every time he moves out with his Templar. 20 supply lead for Dewalt, but I think Pitbull is probably going to catch up pretty soon. Templar moves out. Where's the storm? He's trying to find a good one. That's not the greatest, but he still has a lot of Zealots left over. He has one more storm available, and this is pretty much what Pitbull does. Oh, that's a really good storm. This is what Pitbull does, is he just tries to run you over with mass Hydras, and it looks like maybe the Zealots are just a little bit not synced up, and the Hydra count is getting overwhelmingly high. A round of Zealots are trying to stream out, but they're not synced up together, so the Hydras are just picking them off. They also have +1 weapon on the Hydras. The cannons are almost all gone too. Is there any storm? I don't think there is. He needs about 10 more seconds, so Pitbull might actually just bust through. There's no more Zealots left. There are multiple Templar, but actually no storm available. That one has one storm. This has another storm within the next 5 seconds, but he needs it now. That's a really good one. But that's just it. GG. Dewalt taps out, so Pitbull goes up 1-0 in the series. Unfortunately for Dewalt, not able to get out enough storm in time to deal with Pitbull's attacks. And Pitbull did just what I thought he was going to do, at least from what I remember in the past few months, is he just makes tons and tons of Hydras and just sends them at you.